Complex actually rolled out this list of hip hop media power rankings. And the image that I'm showing you is the image that they actually posted on the article. And I see Angela Yee here, Peter Rosenberg, Sway, Angie, Charlemagne, Flex, Academic, and others. I wanted to read some of, what they had to say about why they had certain people in certain places. I
Were
know
those like the top
Joe
10 that
Button
you
was
just
number
named
one.
off? Was that like the top 10?
No, that wasn't the top 10. That was just the image. But let me go to the top 10 itself, right?
I'd like to hear the top. How many people did they name?
Um, they did more than 10, but at
How many
least on
people
the
did they
cover.
name?
But I have the top 10 here.
But how many people did they name though?
Hold on, I have to pull up the full article, but
Did
I
we
do
not
have
make the
the image
list?
of the 10. No, we didn't make the list.
Okay.
No.
Well, I'm gonna remember that shit.
Top 10 complex hip
Cause
hop
you naming off
media
people that
power
I know be
ranking.
stealing shit from us, but they making the list. Like, okay, okay.
That's corporate stuff. Complex hip hop
Get
media
your
power
ass whipped stuff.
ranking list. Top 10. Math Hoffa was number 10. DJ Vlad's number 9. Elliot Wilson's 8. Carisha is number 7. Is it Kaya Sinnet is number 6. Nori is number 5. Gillian Wallow 4. Charlemagne's 3. Academics 2. And Joe Button's number 1. I want to see how they got to this though. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I will give Joe the respect, man, because he is a pioneer in this space. Jay Short with the super chat says, "Are all the artists in that ticket from New York? Are they still trying to shut out the West and Atlanta in 2023? They got Glorilla on there. Yeah, Glorilla's on the lineup. Coi Leray. Yeah. Everybody else is pretty much from New York, though, I think. Let's see. Hip Hop Media Power Ranking shows influence. All right, here we go. Here we go. Where should I start, Coop? Okay, they got 25. 25 is Jazzy. Shout out to her, man. She's like 10 years old. 24 is Nyla Simone. Let's see. 23 is Sway. 22 is Nardwar. Shout out to Nardwar. 21 is Anthony Fantone. I'm sorry, Anthony Fatano. Nadeska is number 20. Adam 22 is number 19. Big Boy is number 18. Jinx is number 17. Interesting. Peter Rosenberg is number 16. Let me read this one. Peter Rosenberg cares deeply about a lot of things, and sometimes it can be to his detriment. His undeniable passion for hip hop and backpack bona fides makes his Juan EP, his life podcast interviews, refreshingly earnest and unsexually. Let's see what we. As a seasoned host of Hot 97, ESPN New York, WWE, and formerly Complex, he cares deeply about broadcasting fundamentals, demonstrating an unmatched ability to talk exponentially about nearly anything in an entertaining way. However, Rosenberg also cares deeply about how others perceive him, which has led to numerous trivial feuds with rappers and peers. And despite an ongoing gigs in New York's most prominent rap station, the rap station that we just showed you a bogus lineup for, Rosenberg can sometimes still evoke the folly of a try hard still when he shares his thoughts on rap. People rightfully pay attention. Do people pay attention
Huh?
to
What?
Rosenberg like that?
What?
I don't know. I don't know how to gauge in this influence, but and respect to what Rosenberg has done in his career. But right now in 2023, I think people go to him more so for WWE stuff than actual music stuff. And I'm not saying that to be funny. That's just more so telling the truth. We're in a different space right now. I don't think that. I mean, you guys saw it even with the Magic thing a couple of years ago. Him and Cypher Sounds were off pace, and they were off base, and the people weren't with them. And I don't know. I can't think of the last time that the people were really. Flex is 15. Angela Yee is 14. I don't know if Angela even covers music. Okay. Ebro's 13. Shout out to Ebro. He actually covers music. Of all people on here, he actually covers music. Angie was 12.
Martinez?
Yeah, Angie Martinez is 12. I'm sorry for our younger viewers. Angie Martinez. Jason Lee, 11. I don't think he covers music either. But Math Hoffa, 10. DJ Vlad, 9. Elliot Wilson, 8. Carisha, 7. Yeah, I went through all of that. You know what? No, I want to go through this real quick. I want to see why they have Charlemagne at number 2. Oh, number 3, excuse me. Because he doesn't really cover music either. They're talking about the Birdman interview. That was eons ago. Okay, since 2010, The Breakfast Club has helped ordinary people make it through their humble work week. And the syndicated morning show shows success can mostly be attributed to one host, Charlemagne the God. For the bulk of his run, Charlemagne has shared hosting duties with DJ Envy and the recent departure of Angela Yee. But Charlemagne immediately established himself as the show's boundary-pushing wild card. Throughout his tenure, he has been the puppet master of countless viral moments. Would the Birdman interview be explosive if Charlemagne wasn't in the room? And he never minced words about his infamous Donkey of the Day segment where he unleashes incendiary comments about public figures. We would be remiss to not acknowledge that sometimes Charlemagne gets it wrong. His sometimes inappropriate commentary towards guests has gotten him into trouble. However, since becoming a mental health advocate, Charlemagne has slightly toned down his rhetoric without losing his bite or influence. Again, where's the influence when it comes to the music? I don't know, man. Jadarion with the super chat says Joe Budden podcast is hip hop media. Well, it's a good question because none of this stuff seems to really be hip hop media. 36 Chambers with the super chat says, in here late, fellas, did y'all ever take a look at the Ebro's different list category about the hip hop songs? Is it better to break them up by decades or eras than make a single list of all time? Thoughts? I want to talk about that. Because I do think that breaking it up in eras does have some of its, it has its pros and cons. And yeah, they got DJ Academic at number 2.
Ebro on the breaking it up in the era.
What's that?
I'm more with Ebro on the breaking it up in the era.
You're with it or not?
No, I'm with it.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that because if let's just say hypothetically, we break up the 10 best songs of each era, then you have a list of what, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s. I guess you could kind of squeeze some in from today. I don't think that would be fair. I think that maybe we can mince it up in 4 different eras. Because I don't think anything that's come out from 2020 to now is warranted to be a top 50 hip-hop song of all time. Right?
It's fair.
So, yeah, I think that, if we could do about...
Stargazing would be the...
That was 2018. I'm talking about 2020 to now.
Shoot, I think Stargazer is the only song that's come out in the last 5 years that I think would even be a contender.
Okay.
Because here's the thing, like, I mean, you do understand this. This is like, no, Children's Story was Children's Story when it came out, as in, like, you know, Fight the Power. It's not like it took us a while to gravitate towards Fight the Power or Dear Mama or Children's Story or Mind Playing Tricks on Me. It was like, oh no, we knew. Like we all knew it was like, oh no, it's like that's it, right there. And so that's what I'm saying is like I think Stargazing is the only record that we all agree on, like that, like old head, young head, like new head, not big head. Like my daughter doesn't listen to a lot of rap. She pop in and be like, but Stargazing, no, Daddy, it's Stargazing. You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree with that.
Right.
I think that there is
That's
an
what a top
era.
50 song is for its era, or a top 20 song for its era. It's like, no, we all like, no, that record though.
Right. There has to be a way to do it. Jay Short with the super chat says, didn't Drink Champs have the #1 interview last year? This sounds like an industry trying to credentialize and reward those pushing their agenda. It does seem like a credentializing list. And I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. And yes, you're right. Drink Champs did have the Kanye West interview.
Isn't Nori on the list though?
He is on the list. He's at what, number 5, I
And
believe.
Ebro's on the list too.
I found it interesting though. I find it very interesting that Nori's on the list, but his co-host isn't on the list.
Hold on, Ebro is on the list.
No. Ebro's on the list. I'm talking about Nori and DJ FN.
Oh, I mean, what? But isn't Ebro there too?
Ebro's on like number 13 or something. What Ebro got to do with it? I'm talking about Drink Champs.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because Drink Champs is it's a collective podcast. It's not just Nori, you know what I mean? It's not like Nori spins off and does interviews by himself like Joe Budden does. And you need DJ FN there. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, Mike, to be honest with you though, Nori do be doing those interviews by himself. He be straight dominating the airtime. Respectfully speaking.
But do you think that's a good thing? I think that DJ EFN, he balances it out. I'm just going to
tell you what I see.
I think DJ EFN balances that show out because Nori goes off course. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think the show lacks balance sometimes. So
well, they're at the table getting drunk, doing interviews. So that's going to happen.
Fair.
You know what I'm saying? But
no, totally fair.
But again, I think DJ EFN needs to be there. You know what I'm saying? Like because if he didn't, and I think that DJ Envy kind of got slighted in a similar way. But yeah, I mean, I understand the Joe Budden thing being #1. Do you like Joe Budden having? Because have you seen Joe Budden's podcast recently?
Outside of the Nori interview, no.
He has a lot of people on set now. Like I saw Melissa
I watched
Ford.
the Nori interview. The Nori interview was minimal set, it seemed like. Though.
Okay. And I like when Joe Budden used to do those pull-ups where he would just pull up on artists and, you know what I'm saying, interview them. I think Joe Budden's a great journalist, right? But I don't love the whole set with the podcast where they have like 5 people in there. I don't think he needs all that. And I like Queen's Flip individually. Shout out to him. But it's like, it's just a whole lot of people in there now. And I guess my question, though, to bring it all back, what is considered hip-hop journalism now? Or hip-hop media, per se, like they're saying? Because none of these people seem to cover any music.
Well, that is the thing that we have to understand and respect even when we're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was just at the Rap Snacks event. We just did part 1. You just released part 1 of my write-up about the Rap Snacks, all in a bag of chips. Go check it out. It's on accordingtohiphop.com. Nick Love, who's most notorious for us down here in Atlanta for his work with Jeezy, spoke to how, well, this hip-hop game and culture now is not music-centered like it used to be, whether we like it or not. And so this list that you're seeing is a reflection of that, actually. It is about marketing and branding and promotion and beyond the music, because here's what's happened with the music. And people need to really pay attention. Listen to what I'm saying. It's harder for an artist now to come into a game like this and earn a living just off the music, more so than it ever has been, Mike. They have literally constricted, narrowed, stuck their hands in every lane possible to siphon money out the artist. Because quite frankly, well, Whitney Houston ain't coming around no time soon and be like, yeah, we about to go down about 3-4 times in a row. You know what I'm saying? We about to have a Bodyguard soundtrack on the charts for the next 25 years.
Well, music is essentially free, so
Correct.
that's what that is, you know.
Correct.
But I mean, to that point though,
I'm speaking to Whitney because I'm also speaking about a certain level of talent that we're not seeing too. That's why I'm bringing up Whitney. It's like, well, yeah, the music ain't there and the sales ain't there, but there ain't no Whitney running around either.
well,
You know what I'm
is
saying?
this Hot Nine? Is this Hot Nine
She injected,
7?
like the game was dead in a lot of ways for black artists, black female artists, in terms of their marketing, their promotional budget until Whitney came along. That's why I'm bringing Whitney up. It's like, no, she was the type of talent that made the entire industry look at the black female talent differently, because it's like, well, what if we can find another Whitney? That's what Mariah is.
Well, what I was gonna ask is, I mean, for that same notion, that same concept you were just saying, is that Hot 97 Summer Jam lineup a reflection of that?
Yeah, it's a reflection of. I'm saying this respectfully. It's a reflection of the talent not being the same, but it's also a reflection of the business being different. You know what I'm saying?
Do upcoming artists want to be great artists, or do they want to be great personalities? Is that what the focus is?
I don't think that the focus is for them to be great musically, and so I think it is literally one of those things that would have to be a personal ethos of theirs to want to make great music. I'll give you an example of somebody like Hit Boy Mike has made a personal ethos about choosing the music and the quality of music over trying to maybe brand himself. And his reality is also is that, well, part of his branding is from his biggest record, and he's not going to get maybe as notarized as he should for this quality album executive production that he's doing as a producer until he makes another banger. It don't gotta be Niggas in Paris, but until he makes another, like, you know what I'm saying? Until he makes another song that like everybody's singing, you know, he's gonna suffer some of that fate too. Unfortunately, it's the way the game goes right now. It has nothing to do with him. He's actually fortunate because he has he has Nas projects under his belt. He has Niggas in Paris under his belt. Guys walking around with his ethos that don't have that, they are fucked, Mike.
B Dean with the super chat says, according to hip hop, High ATL and Sway are probably the only ones who cover music. The rest of them just cover gossip. No disrespect. I mean, I don't think that's any disrespect. That's on their. I mean, they know what they do. You know what I'm saying? And I guess my question here is hip hop gone to a place where the media in hip hop is more about gossip than anything else?
Absolutely.
And the music is no longer a factor. The music kind of seems to be, at least from the list that I see here, for many of them, and not saying all of them, many of them, music is just a backdrop. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have somebody on your show because they are a person that makes music, but none of the interview is about any music. No, you're not talking about the album. You're not delving into the album. It's gossip. I mean, they literally have gossip segments on The Breakfast Club. It is what it is. I'm kind of confused though. Why, Ebro's on the list, right? Ebro in the morning, and that's really Rosenberg's biggest platform. I know Rosenberg has the After Dark thing. I think he still does that, but
late night.
The late night with Rosenberg thing. It's hard for me to think that somebody like the Art of Dialogue or even Beehive is not on the list, and Rosenberg's on there for, the late night thing that I can't even remember the last artist that launched.
So part of why some of this stuff is corny to some people, and it's not for me. I'm speaking about what people tell me when, they talk to me and then they talk about why they love According to Hip Hop to me. You're like, oh, I'll fuck with you and Mike D. Coop because whoop, 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 whoop. Well, one of the things is that when you have relationships outside of the music with people because of the music, and you live in a gossip-driven time, what happens is that these guys are getting into discourse, but it's somebody that they know, And so, although that the stories are great, what you find is these discourses that are tangents away from the music and from the fabric of the music because of the relationship. And listen to what I'm saying. It feeds right into the algorithm right now for the gossip. And so everybody's all for it.
Right.
And so when Nori is like, quite frankly, sharing a story with the artist, it's like, oh, no, no, no. Oh, you smashed old girl too. She lived in such and such apartment. Oh, yeah, that's her. Yeah, I used to be up at, you get what I'm saying? It's like, well, this chick ain't got nothing to do with music. You know what I'm saying? But because you have a relationship with the artist and it's a story and we live in a gossipy time, you get how that story now is something that they chop up and cut and clip, and it's a big thing when it's like, they're not even talking about music. It's just like Nori actually know this guy hood, this guy know his hood. Saying you get what I'm saying? It's like it becomes one of those things, and that's fine. And that's fine when you're interviewing somebody, but it's like, I don't know if you noticed this, Mike. When I connect with somebody that I interview, I usually try to pivot to something that I don't connect to them with to keep the integrity of the interview intact so it doesn't get too personal or segue too far off into somewhere where the integral media part of it that makes the media, like at some point you have to decide, it's like, am I a member of a media or is this motherfucker my friend? You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, I tell you what, it's like, oh no, I love talking to Skis and Love and David Kim and Hit Boy, but it's like, oh no, I asked Hit Boy about this Slim Shady record. You know what I'm saying? I asked Skis, like, how you know Conway? I asked Love, what you doing down in Atlanta? I asked David Kim, how your family end up migrating here? It's like, no, they make music questions, but they're artist-driven questions to help create a scope of you. I'm not gossiping.
Well, you're telling a story and you're developing a story and allowing them the opportunity to tell their story. A lot of the stuff that gets clickbait and that goes viral and all of that is based on some gossip stuff. And I'm glad that we came up in a time where you had the Ed Gordons that were out here interviewing Tupac, and they weren't sitting down here, talking about some nonsense. They talked about things that impacted generations after. You and I just got through talking about how Kendrick was able to string together his best album, in my opinion, through a Tupac interview. Now, that would have never been possible if whoever was interviewing Tupac, the subject at that time, on some gossip shit. It just wouldn't have. And
like,
honestly,
I heard you shot
man,
2 police officers. Tell me what happened when you shot them.
Right. And after seeing this list, I understand why Drake, Kendrick, and J. Cole don't do interviews. Because these are the people that they expect them to do interviews with. And based on, and I'm not talking about everybody on the list, but mostly the people on this list, they're going to be asking them stuff that has nothing to do with music. And I understand why they wouldn't even want to be involved with that if they don't have to. 36 Chambers with the super chat says, Talib's podcast called Party People is much better than Joe Budden. Talib does research, legwork, asks thought-provoking questions, etc. Bet he's left off the list since he's Luminary now. Talib does do a good job with his
he's probably left off the list because he's problematic, not because he's on Luminary.
Well, at the end of the day, there's some other problematic people on the list too. So, they continue to overlook Talib's podcast, unfortunately. I don't know if that's because of who he's with or who he is or whatever, but...
Well, no, Mike, we have to be consistent and be fair. The same way we were talking about the album, and it's like, well, how can we give it album of the year when everybody else don't have access to it? It's like, is he doing a better podcast than Joe is right now?
No, his podcast is on YouTube.
I haven't been keeping...
No, Party People's on YouTube. It's not on Luminary.
Okay. I haven't been keeping up with either really like that. But if you told me that, I wouldn't be surprised. But this is what I'm saying. Well, Joe is kind of like an icon in this game at this point.
He started the movement.
And
He
he's
did.
kind of like a godfather, right?
Yeah.
He kind of veto up in this situation.
I don't even count Joe. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right, I
Joe
don't even
deserves
count
to
him.
be
Like when
number
they put
one.
him at number one, I was like, "Well, duh, motherfucker! Like,
Yeah.
thanks for that one. Like we didn't know that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like that's how I mean. Like the list is even politics. Even with putting him at number one, it's like, oh, he's at number one. It's like, oh, what a surprise. He don't got to do nothing this
I
year
don't really
to do
have
that.
a problem
He kind
with.
of already earned that slot. So it's like, no, I get it, but it's like at the same time too, it's like, what are they making of this list?
You know what? I don't have a problem with Academic being number two because whenever Academic has to do interviews, he does a good job. He does. He knows what he's here for. He gets the numbers up and all of that. But have you seen his show on Spotify? Cool. You there?
No, I'm right here.
Yeah, his show's good. He does a good job with interviews.
You tell me that it's good. I have not watched it.
Yeah. I got to give credit where credit's due.
I mean, no. I dig it. Like, if the information is there, like, this is how I look at stuff. It's like,
Now he doesn't come to his subjects on some gossip stuff. You know what I mean? Like, and that might be surprising knowing what his platform is about. But yeah, when he's sitting down with somebody, it's not some.
I know that you watch him, and so I kind of don't because I know that you do. Because I feel like that if he does something pertinent, I'll probably hear it from you. And what I would submit to you is that think about how many times you've come to me in the past year and bought something pertinent about his podcast to me. I will tell you those times haven't been many. So it's like, and that's what I mean. I'm funny like that, Mike. It's not like I have anything against him. It's like, well, I know you watch him and you don't pull up on me too often about his podcast. That definitely ain't about to get me to watch his shit.
Well, I really don't. I really don't have the time to sit around and watch everybody's podcast like that. So I only have watched him like whenever he has like bigger guests or something like that. And the few times that I have watched him, he's done a good job. So that's all I'm saying.
No, I will tell you this. You're right. As far as like his actual interview process and asking real questions, I think that he does a great job from what I've seen. But what I mostly see is in outtakes. And sometimes I question the motivation behind those questions. It's like you say it's not gossip, but it is to garner a certain sort of level of attention with some of the line of questioning.
It's true.
Like, he ain't no Ed Bradley with the questions. He's not like framing a picture. He's definitely trying to get his guests to say something or to comment on something that is going to be sensationalized, put into a clip, and blast out to mass media.
How often have you seen?
And not to say that's not a respectable type of journalism, but that is a style of journalism, and it's like that ain't really like my thing.
Well, how often have you seen? I mean, because DJ Academic is who he is. He's huge, right? How many times have you seen one of his sensationalized clips going viral? You don't see that a lot from his interview show. I'm sure he could do that a lot more if he, if he was trying to do that.
See, that's what I'm saying. I couldn't tell you because I'm not in the loop, Mike. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't follow him. I don't watch him. So it's like, I really don't know.
But, I mean, you follow hip-hop. So if it was, something that was constantly
I don't know, Mike.
out.
He trends a lot. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. When you saying that, it's like I see his name flashing across a lot. I just don't ever read it. That's what I'm saying. So if you want to talk about it, it's like, how often does he flash? No, he flashes more than anybody else on this list.
I don't feel like he, when it comes to serious interviews, he chases the clout in that way. I think he does. Okay. He does that in other ways. You know what I mean?
You're saying that it's like, did he always operate that way, or did he start operating that way when he started getting all those big interviews? And also, how often does he do those big interviews now that you're speaking of?
Well, again, like I said, I can just speak for the ones that I've seen. I haven't kept up with every single podcast episode. Maybe the people in here can let us know a little bit of that. Jay Short, the super chat says, was Vlad on the list? If not, I know for sure this is an industry list because Vlad doesn't have a lot of current artists on his platform. Yeah, Vlad was like number... Let me go back. I think Vlad was number...
I mean, we know
Vlad was number 9.
I'm not trying to put Act in like the Vlad category, but every time I see Act stuff, it's with somebody big, and it's like something that he's asking them that's usually not like music related. So that's why it's like, well, I don't know how to take it because I'm not like a follower or a watcher. Like I'm not Not like that, Mike. I'm just like not a fan of his pod, like in like his interviews like that. Like you know
But
what I
you
mean?
say
Like,
you hadn't watched it. I think you're just not a fan of him and what his brand represents.
no, I mean it's just like I get it, Mike. When you're like he's good at getting information out of people, I'm like, okay, if like you feel that way, that's fine. I just got like he's cool. Like I haven't like like Joe has a perspective when he's talking that I like to hear from a line of questioning on a journalistic level. Like the questions that I see academics ask, it's like, well, I can, that's like in the handbook. You know what I'm saying? It ain't really digging deeper or telling me nothing new. I'd watch Drink Champs just for the sidebar stories that are going to tell me more. You know what I'm saying?
It's tough for me to get through Drink Champs, and I say that respectfully. It's normally all over the place, and then when it does get serious, Nori finds a way to jump in and say something off topic or try to be funny.
No,
And then,
I get you.
I couldn't even watch Wu-Tang on there, and I love Wu-Tang. It just
I
seemed
haven't
like it was a
seen
bunch
Wu-Tang
of
on
people
there.
talking
See,
at
that's what
one
I mean,
time.
Mike. I just have to tell you the truth. I'll be in my zone, and I'll be in this according to hip hop zone. I don't watch none of these guys like that. Like truthfully.
Okay.
Like I don't. Like, and when I do, I don't be feeling them like that. It just is what it is. It ain't nothing personal. Like, I like a lot of these guys personally more than I like their shows, to be honest with you. I respect they hustle and they grind and what they've built and how they've transitioned and how they've provided jobs for others and how they've connected media and how they've taken control of the media. Like, I respect the overall vision more than I actually enjoy the product, is what I'm saying. Like, that's just the businessman in me. It's like, no. I respect the building of the product and the brand and the man more than I like to pull up and listen to a lot of these guys. And it's not nothing personal. I just, quite frankly, happen to think that, I do the shit better. So why would I listen to you?
I mean, I could think that and still, listen to what other people are
I
doing.
mean that shit from the bottom of my heart. Like, it's like, no, I feel like I'm better at it. Why would I listen to you doing something you don't do as good as me?
Because there's always something to, be able to take from, other things that are going on.
If you think Michael Jordan was watching footage of Charles Barkley play after
Michael Jordan did watch footage of other people playing. That's why
No, Mike. If he was playing against him in the finals, but not like on no day to day. Like, he went. How about this, Mike? There was the 1990 season. Magic Johnson won MVP. Charles Barkley came in second. Michael Jordan came in third. I'm telling you, Mike wasn't sitting up there watching like footage of Charles and Charles and Magic after the game. Like, it don't work that way.
I'm sure, like I said, there are parts of people's
and you see Charles when he play and dap him up. They probably go out and party together, pull some bitches. Like all
but
that.
There are
but
parts
like,
of people's game.
We out here playing, nigga. I'm trying to. No.
There are parts of people's game that are better than other parts of other people's game, and I think that the only way that you're able to know those things is kind of know the landscape.
No,
I think that Ebro does a great job.
Michael Jordan ain't sitting up here in 1990 when Magic's winning MVP and Barkley's coming in second, coming in third. He's not sitting up at night watching tape on Magic and Barkley unless they got a game the next day. That's what I'm saying.
We should ask Michael.
Watch who's in front of you when you compete. You watch who's in front of you when you compete. And what I'm saying is that, like, well, I don't spend time watching like Joe Budden or academics or Vlad because it's like, no, I'm thinking about the next interview for According to Hip Hop. I'm trying to get skis. I'm seeing what next event we need to be at. That's what I'm saying. It's like, no, I respect what everybody's doing, but it's like I'm kind of running right now too. So I really don't know what you're doing like that. I only know what I see when something big comes across my feed because I'm not checking for you like that right now because we out here balling, Mike. It's the season. You feel me?
I feel that. I mean, but again, I think
right now it's like when I play, Mike, I play to win. And I know I ain't never seen nobody play to win and sitting up there watching somebody else's stat line go up. That ain't how you win.
Well, that's like you saying. That's like you saying because you play ball, you can't watch a basketball game, or because you make music, you can't go listen to music. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still entertained by other podcasts. I'm not looking at the podcast for to dissect it. I'm listening to it, as an entertainment medium. You know what I mean?
Oh, no. See, that's what I'm saying, Mike. If I'm watching them trying to figure out what we need to do to win. Like, I ain't watching them, like, on no sort of entertainment value whatsoever. It's like, oh, how did they do that? Be like, oh, I don't like that. That don't work. We can't do that. I'll be watching them to see what they do wrong, to be honest with you. Like, I'm competitive like that. That's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't watch them to be entertained by them anymore. I'm officially doing the same thing that they're doing. I'm not trying to be entertained by you. I'm trying to beat you, like all of you. like bad.
Being Dean with the super chat says the artist's personalities is bigger than the music. I think it's designed for that right now. I mean, everybody's out here selling merch and trying to, push their brand per se, as opposed to the music. Jay Short with the super chat says, I think the industry/media is following the ESPN strategy. Sometimes talking about the game or the players is more lucrative than the game itself. Definitely see that.
See, this is what I mean. So somebody just asked me, Coop, did you listen to other rappers you rap? Yes, I did. And when somebody hit a certain level, it made me tap back in. Mike, part of the reason why I'm partial to Hell Hath No Fury is because I was still active then. That's the last rap album that I heard. I can remember being with Holla in the car on Delk Road heading to the studio, and I was playing the shit for him, and he was looking at me, and I was like, we got to step our fucking game up. You know what I mean? Like, that's what Hell Hath No Fury was for me. It wasn't even about the talk. It's like, do you hear how these dudes are rapping? Do you hear their flows? Do you hear their cadences? Do you hear their bar and stanza structure? As an MC that was on the verge of making it, I took that personally, competitively. So it's like if you're talking about listening to it on that level, yeah, but it had to hit me on a certain level for me to invest into it like that. So when I'm telling you that I'm not really listening like that, what do you think I'm really trying to say in a nice way?
Well, it sounds like you're just saying that you're not even trying to listen to him anyway. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm saying, no. I'm saying like Hell Hath No Fury gave me plenty of reason as an MC to be afraid, to worry, to listen over and over again, and to go back in. And if I'm not listening to these guys all the time, it's because I'm not worried.
Well, it's not about being worried. You know what I mean?
And in terms of no, not worried. Like I'm saying, like in the space that we're existing in. And you're right, Mike. It's not about being worried. But it's also not about studying these other dudes and giving them props while we're out here trying to get ours. I don't know no hustler that hustler that way. That's what I'm saying.
It's not about studying them either. You know what I'm saying? It's about, just giving credit where credit's due. If people do a good job,
all those guys are great. Next.
Yeah, if somebody does a good job of something, they do something good. I mean, like I said, we give it to musicians and stuff too. I said I can't really listen to Drink Champs like that. You know what I mean? Because it's just it be all over the place. I don't really love the format. And respect to them, and it's nothing personal. It's just my taste. You know what I mean?
No, I get what you're saying, Mike. Listen to what I'm saying. Have you heard any of these people shout out according to hip hop?
No.
Okay, then why are we talking about them? That's what I'm saying. That's how this really works. It's
we're talking about the list. We normally don't, just shout them out in our regular show.
I gave them their props. It's like, no. I respect everybody on this list and what they're doing. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay, but I'm not gonna go out here and just, go through the list and just, be disingenuous in if somebody's doing good. Like Joe Budden is a legend in this game. He carved the path.
I don't know what these dudes are doing. I just know what I see.
Blue Collar Hustler with the super chat says, it bothers me when people say Nas never had a team around him. Nas has been brilliant at picking people who represent his interests. Serch, Steve Stout, and Anthony, how does he say his last name? Salah, have all helped him ascend. I agree. I think Nas has done some incredible stuff over the course of his career. I think that the fact that, unfortunately, people just compare it to, the other individual and their success rate and what they've done, and they try to make it seem like, Nas hasn't done what he's done. Both incredible careers. Congratulations to them both.
Mike, I'm highly competitive. I don't apologize.
Me too.
For who I am.
Too.
You know what I'm saying?
Me too. I am.
Yeah, it's like, oh no, that's great for these guys. It's like, are we on the list? It's like, oh, Mike, I'll tell you off the camera what I think.
I mean, honestly, people, this is what I'm getting to and even reading this list. I don't think that the hip hop fans are really listening to these individuals in this manner. I don't think they're as influential as Complex is trying to make them up to be. I agree with Jay Short. I think this is their attempt to actually credentialize some of these individuals. Folks don't listen to them like that. When you and I were doing our regular shows, more people tune into what we're doing than Rosenberg and Cipher Sounds and Juan Epstein joint. I mean, you can't be that influential. Even with B Dot, like when B Dot was talking about what was that thing that he got into, the little back and forth. I forgot what it was, but he was gonna clear it up on his live. I went on his live. It was like 30 people in there. You know what I mean? Like, and again, no disrespect. It is what it is. But I think that these type of lists are clearly corporate lists that overshoot who these individuals really are in the culture, and they're trying to credentialize them to the people who don't listen to them anyway. But I will also give credit to people who do a good job. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think. How about this? I think to reach to a point of making this list, at some point you had to have been doing some sort of phenomenal, incredible, and accredited job and tapped into something about this culture that made people gravitate and feel galvanized by your words and by your message. And that's why I'm saying that it's like, no, I don't want to discount any of them. It's just like, I'm not the one to really be speaking on their place because I don't listen to them. And the main reason I don't listen to them is because, well, I feel like we should be on the list.
Well, I think one of the things that really separates us from a lot of the people that are on this list is the fact that people tune in to us to hear us talk to each other. We don't really need a guest to actually have a successful show.
We don't need clout. Got that.
Whereas all of these other entities, from Vlad to, I mean, what is Vlad without a guest? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not going to sit there and listen to Vlad talk hip hop for 2 hours.
What is he with one?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like,
see, don't get me started.
But you know what I mean? Like, no one's going to sit there and listen to Vlad talk hip hop by himself or with, one of the other people that, is on his staff for 2 hours. You're just not. And so my thing is, how special and influential are the people on this list if they need a guest, a big time guest at that, to actually garner an audience? Now, I'll give it to Joe Budden. Joe Budden will sit there and talk by himself and people will listen. He don't need a guest.
He don't.
He doesn't. You know what I mean? He's proven. You know what I mean? So I'll give him that. But the rest of the guys need guests. I mean, and respect to Nori and DJ EFN, they need guests on Drink Champs for people to watch. They're not going to go out there and review an album. Yeah, they're not. Mm-hmm. Drinking and shit, and I say that respectfully. I know it's going to come off as whatever, but I think that what we're doing is very different. And I think we are ahead of the pack because a lot of the stuff that we do and how engaging that we are with the people is something that, these people with these platforms will not do. They're not going to talk to y'all like we do. You know what I'm saying? And they're not going to sit here and let people have a voice. They're going to try to control the narrative. Gary Pierce with the Super Chat says, I respect anyone eating, but I check for according to hip hop more than all those other cats. Mike and Cooper, the champs, not even close. Appreciate the love, man. We appreciate y'all being in here, man, because y'all guide the conversations. Like I said, nobody else is out here talking to the people in that way.